The front door didn't open. It exploded. That's how fast she came in. Karen Thompson, president of the HOA, stormed through my living room like she'd been waiting her whole life for this moment. Clipboard raised, eyes blazing. Every step screamed authority she didn't have. "You are in violation again, Mr. Carter," she shouted, voice cracking with anger. "Your grass is half an inch too high, your mailbox is outdated, and I didn't move." Just stood there, coffee mug still in my hand, watching her wave that clipboard like a badge. She marched into my kitchen without asking, brushing her palm across the counter to remove dust. Then, God help me, opened my refrigerator. "Do you realize how many complaints I get about you?" She hissed. That's when it hit me. She wasn't inspecting anymore. She was hunting, but this time, the hunter picked the wrong house. "Step away from my counter, Karen." I kept my voice calm, steady, the kind that makes people freeze before they realize why. She didn't. Instead, she turned to face me, chin lifted like a prosecutor about to deliver a sentence. "I have every right to inspect this property," she snapped. "As HOA president, I'm authorized to verify compliance inside and out." I took a slow step forward. "Inside and out? That's not how the law works." She rolled her eyes, tapping her clipboard against her chest. "Don't lecture me about the law, Mr. Carter. You're not." She stopped mid-sentence when she saw the look in my eyes. The same look I used to give people right before I read them their rights. I set my coffee down. "You've got 10 seconds to leave." Karen's lips twitched. She didn't move, and that's when I realized she wasn't here to argue. She was here to provoke. Karen brushed past me like I was furniture. Her perfume cut through the air, sharp, chemical fake confidence in a bottle. She moved straight toward the hallway, snapping photos with her phone. "Karen, that's enough." She didn't answer. Her heels clicked against the hardwood like gunshots in a bottle. She moved straight toward the hallway, snapping photos with her phone. "Karen, that's enough." She didn't answer. Her heels clicked against the hardwood like gunshots. "Do you hear me?" I said louder this time. Nothing. Just another flash from her camera lighting up my living room wall. She muttered, "Non-compliant flooring, unauthorized fixtures," like she was building a case in her head. I stepped in front of her. "Put the phone down," she smirked. "Are you threatening an HOA official?" My jaw tightened. "No, I'm warning a trespasser." That word hit her like ice. For the first time, she blinked, unsure. Then her chin rose again, stubborn and shaking. "You wouldn't dare!" I took one step closer. "Try me." That was the last line before everything turned into evidence. Karen didn't back off. She brushed past me again and stepped straight into the dining room like it belonged to her. That's when I saw it, my mail scattered across the table, half-opened envelopes, even my badge wallet sitting right next to her clipboard. She was flipping through papers, snapping photos like a crime scene investigator gone rogue. "Are you out of your mind?" I said, moving forward fast. She froze for half a second, then hissed, "I'm documenting violations." "Violations?" I pointed at my letters. "That's federal mail, Karen." She shrugged like it meant nothing. "The HOA reserves rights of access." I cut her off. "Not in my house." She actually laughed. "Don't be dramatic." I leaned closer, my voice dropping low. "You just committed a felony." Her smile faltered. For the first time, she realized I wasn't bluffing, and that's when she reached for my phone, and I reached for my badge. Karen's hand darted toward my phone, fingers trembling but defiant. "Don't touch that," I said quietly. She froze mid-reach, eyes flicking between the phone and my face. Then I opened my wallet. The silver badge caught the light, clean, unmistakable authority. Her entire expression cracked. The smirk vanished. The color drained. "Detective James Carter," I said evenly. "City Police." For a full second, she just stood there, breathing hard, eyes wide, clipboard trembling in her grip. You're a cop?" 20 years, I replied. "And you just broke into an officer's home." Her mouth opened, closed, then opened again, but no words came out, just air and panic. "That camera over the fridge?" I added, nodding. "It's been recording since you walked in." The clipboard slipped from her fingers and hit the floor with a dull clack. By the time I reached for my phone, she was already begging me not to make the call. "Wait," she stammered, stepping back. "We can fix this. No one needs to know." I didn't answer. My phone was already dialing. Her voice cracked. "Please! I thought you said you were fixing your fence. I assumed you invited me in." I tilted my head. "Through a locked door?" Her hands fluttered helplessly. "You left it open." "I just wanted to confirm. Burglary in progress," I said into the receiver, my tone calm and official. "Suspect still on scene." Karen's face collapsed. "You're serious? You're actually calling this in?" "I'm a cop, not your neighbor right now," I said quietly. "You crossed the line." She sank into a chair, muttering to herself, gripping her clipboard like a life raft. Outside, the distant wail of sirens began to echo through the neighborhood. Her eyes shot to the window. "No," she whispered. "Not in front of everyone." But everyone was already outside waiting to see the queen of the HOA finally fall. Blue lights flashed across the blinds. Karen's head jerked toward the window as two patrol cars rolled up in perfect silence. No rush, just certainty. She stood up fast. "I know the mayor! My husband's an attorney. You'll regret this!" I didn't respond. Just set my badge on the table and stepped aside. Officer Vega entered first, calm and steady. "Ma'am, we received a call about an unlawful entry." Karen's voice broke. "He invited me in." "He's twisting this." Vega glanced at me. I turned the phone toward him, security footage already playing. Karen's face drained. The screen showed her rifling through my mail, opening drawers, snapping photos. Vega sighed softly. "Ma'am, put your hands behind your back." The metallic click of handcuffs echoed louder than her protests. Outside, cameras flashed from porches. Neighbors whispered, smiling in disbelief. But even handcuffs couldn't stop her mouth, and what she shouted next made the entire street go silent. As Vega guided her toward the door, Karen twisted, thrashing against the cuffs. "This is ridiculous!" she screamed. "I run this neighborhood." "He's lying! He planted that footage!" Neighbors were gathered on lawns now, phones out, recording every word. Mrs. Chen from 2 doors down covered her mouth, whispering, "Oh my God." Bob across the street muttered, "About time." Karen's voice broke into a shrill pitch. "You people will regret this. The HOA will bury you all." Officer Martinez stepped in beside Vega. "Ma'am, calm down." "I am calm," she yelled, kicking at the air. I stood by the porch, arms crossed. "Karen," I said quietly, "this isn't an HOA meeting." "You're under arrest. Start acting like it." She froze, eyes locked on me, before the fight drained from her completely. For the first time, she looked small, human. But the real punishment wasn't the arrest. It was what happened after the sirens faded. By morning, the story was everywhere. The HOA group chat, the local Facebook page, even the town news blog. HOA president arrested for breaking into cop's home. Neighbors who used to whisper now walked with a bounce in their step. The board held an emergency meeting that night. Karen's seat was empty, her nameplate already gone. Unanimous vote, removed as president. Her real estate agency suspended her pending investigation. By the weekend, the for sale sign appeared in her front yard, planted at a perfect 5-foot distance from the sidewalk. How poetic. I watched from my porch as movers carried out boxes labeled Office and Karen's Files. No one waved goodbye. No one needed to. For the first time, Willow Creek felt quiet again. Not the fake kind. The real kind. But just when I thought it was over, a single envelope showed up in my mailbox with my name written in shaky cursive. The envelope was plain. No return address. Just my name, written in shaky handwriting that looked tired. Inside was a single folded sheet. No threats, no excuses. Just 7 words in blue ink. You reminded me what boundaries are for. For a long moment, I just stared at it. The woman who once ruled the neighborhood with fear now sounded small, human again. I almost didn't know what to feel. Part of me wanted to laugh. Another part, the cop in me, understood. People like Karen don't wake up monsters. They just get lost chasing control until it consumes them. I folded the letter back, slid it into a drawer, and locked it away. Some lessons don't need a response. Outside, the neighborhood was quiet and peaceful. Exactly how I'd wanted it from the start, but peace isn't the same as silence, and what came next reminded me why I never really stopped being a cop. For weeks after she left, the neighborhood felt lighter. The air didn't carry tension anymore. Kids rode bikes again. Neighbors waved without pretending. Even the mailman whistled. Funny thing, nobody ever talked about Karen, but everyone knew the story. It became this unspoken reminder. Power only matters if it serves people, not crushes them. One night I stood on my porch, coffee in hand, looking at the house across the street, the one that used to feel like a threat. Now it was just another empty shell with a sold sign on the lawn. I didn't hate her. Not anymore. She taught me something about control, about peace, about myself. Because sometimes the enemy isn't the person shouting in your face. It's the part of you that still wants to shout back. But before I ended that chapter for good, one last knock on my door brought it all full circle. It was a Sunday morning. Gray sky, quiet street, coffee half gone. Then came the knock. 3 short taps, hesitant. When I opened the door, it wasn't Karen. It was her husband, eyes tired, tie crooked, holding a small brown box. She asked me to drop this off, he said softly. Said it belonged to you. Inside was my old fence post sign, the one she'd fined me for. But now someone had painted across it in neat white letters, "Peace matters more." Just nodded. He turned to leave, then paused. She's different now, he murmured. Therapy, community service. Maybe she finally slowed down. When the door closed, I stood there for a while, the same porch where she once screamed about grass height. Now silent except for wind and memory. That's when I realized the real win wasn't her arrest. It was her change. Standing on that porch, I thought about everything that happened. The shouting, the sirens, the humiliation, the silence that followed. All of it had started with control and ended with understanding. Karen didn't just break into my house. She broke into her own downfall and walked back out changed. And maybe that's what justice really looks like. Not revenge, but realization. As a cop, I used to think power was about making people obey. Now I know. It's about protecting peace, even when you have to fight for it. I locked the door, set the box on the counter, and took a deep breath. For the first time, this house didn't feel like a case file. It felt like home. If you've ever had to stand up for yourself, I said quietly, remember, doing the right thing doesn't make you the villain. Share and subscribe if you believe real justice starts with courage. Because sometimes the quietest neighborhoods hide the loudest stories.